Welcome back. Well, we have two things on the agenda today, and I was just checking. Yes, a photobomb kitty is sound asleep on the floor, so I think he's not going to be as interruptive as he's been in the past. But who knows? He's actually sleeping on his back with his little paws up in the air, so I don't know how long he's going to stay like that. We'll see. We have two things on the agenda today. One was one of our viewers had requested an explanation of a term we're hearing a lot lately. Two, we're going to talk about a giveaway. All right, we'll be right back. Well, as you can see, our Audie-free zone didn't work out as well, but he's over here. He's going to say hi, and then he's going to go back to sleep, huh? Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. There we go. You can, here, I'll make room for you. There. You can sit right there, and you can hit me with your tail. All right, so what was it that I had a question about? It was herd immunity. And I have used that term a couple of times, and I'm guessing that I did not define it, or I didn't define it properly. So, herd immunity is what happens when a significant enough portion of a population, be it humans or livestock. Herd immunity clearly, refers to livestock. You don't really talk about people like that. When a sufficient number of the herd are immune to a disease, to confer immunity to those who are not. So, before we start talking about how it works, let me just very quickly say, I do not want to hear from the anti-vaccine contingent on this. This is not about vaccinations. If you don't want to vaccinate your kids, I'm not telling you you have to do it. I am simply explaining and defining a term. That's what's going on here. So if I start getting comments about how vaccinations are going to be the ruination of society, I'm going to consider them off topic and remove them. Consider this fair warning. Now, when enough of a population, and this can be a population of a country, population of the planet, it can be the population of a herd of pigs or chickens or whatever it is, when enough of a percentage is immune, it creates a situation of immunity or protection, if you will, because it's not really immunity, it's protection for those that are not immune for at least some period of time. Now, here's how it works. You need to have at least 70% of the population immune to a disease. How can they get immune? They can have the disease and survive it. That can often give immunities. Not necessarily, but it often does. But and when it does, occasionally, it's not permanent. It will be a few months, a few years. For example, let me throw this in, flu. You get a flu shot, and you will be immune to the flu for a few months or a year. And I mentioned in a previous video that I get flu shots every year. I do it religiously, and I do it because I take the short bus, and there are people on that bus who are in their 90s who will die if I give them flu. I do it all the time. This is my choice, and it's just, as far as I'm concerned, it's something I'm going to do regardless. There have, however, been times when I have refused vaccinations, and I'll tell you about that later. So for me, it's not as cut and dry as it may be, but we're talking about this now. You get 70 to 80% of the people. So if you have a herd of cows, you have 100 cows, you've got to have 70 or 80 of these cows either immunized or that have had the disease before. Let's say, for example, the disease in question is cowpox, and that, which is a real disease, by the way. They've had the cowpox, they are immune. They can't catch it, they can't carry it, they can't give it to their friends. That's how the remaining 20 or 30 cows who have not had the disease are protected. It's not that they have any protection of themselves. It's that the cows, I was about to say the people, their little cow friends, the creatures with whom they interface every day, are not able to transmit it to them. That's how herd immunity works. So, I talked about flu. Flu mutates way too quickly. Some viruses will. Some viruses are just mutation happy. And by the time you get that 70% of your population either vaccinated or they have the flu and therefore become immune to it, by the time you hit that point, the flu has already gone through several cycles of mutation, and the people who got it a year ago are no longer immune. In general, with a flu, it's an immunity that lasts only months, possibly a year or two, but it's not long-term. So that's how it works. Do you have to have a vaccination? No, you can get the disease. Same difference. Now, that creates the herd immunity. Why they are not looking at this for, coronavirus, I don't know. I'm not a decision maker. I haven't decided what's going on. But we have done this. In fact, this is the only way we have successfully beaten epidemics. Measles, mumps, chickenpox, smallpox, which we have eradicated, all done through herd immunity. So why we are not doing that now, I don't know. Because, as I say, it's the only way we've really managed to deal with it. I think we are waiting for a vaccine. That seems to be the general idea, that we're just going to wait around until somebody comes up with a vaccine. But again, like I say, not the decision maker. So very quickly, because we do have a little bit of time, I got through that explanation fairly quickly. Why would I not get a vaccination? I get a flu shot every year. I get a pneumonia shot every 2 years. I got all my shots when I was a kid. I've got no issues with it. When I was in grad school, my college wanted me to get a measles immunization. Well, I was in grad school by then. My pediatrician had passed on, and his grandson was now a doctor. So I didn't have any of my medical records, but I had had measles. Therefore, I was immune, period. So I would not get the shot. Why is that? Because my college had a student population that was 60% female. And we are talking about young women, 18 to 30, many of whom were presumably sexually active, any one of whom could have been pregnant at any moment. And that particular vaccination it's a live vaccine. You can spread the disease for about up to 2 weeks, I think. So if I had gotten the shot for 2 weeks, I would have been carrying around measles. And I don't remember if it was measles or German measles, but I would have been carrying this around, potentially spreading it, to any number of young women who might be pregnant. And I think it was German measles, because I think it was my Helen Keller argument that I eventually used. By the way, the Helen Keller argument is really effective when you've got your own white cane. I absolutely refused to do anything that had the potential to put that many young women, any number of whom could have been pregnant, and their unborn children at risk. I just said no. I said, if you would ask me over the summer, maybe, but not in the middle of the semester. I'm not going to do it. And interestingly enough, the campus doctor agreed with me and signed me off as having a religious objection to the immunization. So yeah, there are circumstances under which I will say no to a vaccine. I did not need it. I already had it. I just didn't have the medical records to substantiate that, because they were asking me long after my childhood records. And it was too risky for the people around me. So yeah, under those circumstances, I got no problem saying no, because I was extremely clear about the fact that I was at no risk. As I say, campus doctor was pretty clear about it too. He sort of put me down as a religious objector. At first I had a problem with that. I was like, no, this is not about religion. He said, but you said you couldn't deal with the moral implications of making pregnant women sick. I was like, yeah, I can't do that. He said, well, moral, religious, I'm signing off on it. I was like, okay, fine. So that was my sort of trenching in, refusing a vaccine. If I had, in fact, never had this measles or German measles or whatever it was, and like I say, I think it was German measles, it was a long time ago. If I hadn't actually had it, I don't know if I would have reacted the same way. I can't say. That's hypothetical, and I just don't have a response for that. But the fact that I knew for an absolute certainty I'd already had the disease, I was therefore immune, couldn't spread it, and didn't need the vaccination, I didn't have a problem. All right, so before we get on to some quick readings, let's talk about what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, I am going to do a different sort of giveaway. All those beautiful earrings that Stephanie sent, I thought, we have been on lockdown. It's going on 2 months, and we are like this far away from 2 months. So let's do something fun and cheerful. I'm sure this is what she was thinking when she came up with this giveaway, that we could somehow use this to take the edge off our cabin fever. So here's what I'm going to do. Tomorrow's video, and this will be Sunday morning, it goes up Eastern Standard Time, 8 a.m. That's 8 a.m. New York City time. The first 10 people who say, thank you, Stephanie, I'm going to get back to them with to choose which earrings they want. So those will be our winners, the first 10. Now, if they don't get back to me, and we're going to put a time frame on this, we've got 1 hour. I want the whole thing said and done by 9 o'clock. So starting at 8, you can just make your comments. Thank you, Stephanie. I will get back to you because I do follow the comments. And you let me know, A, which pair of earrings you want. And you'll notice when I put the pictures up, I have numbers on each. I will accommodate you as far as I can, with your preferences. If I can't, then it's going to be at random because we're giving away all 10 pair. So you let me know, and I will give you an address where you can send your contact information so I can get it out to you. And let's see if we can just do this all tomorrow. All right, so let me go over that again because I might not have been very clear. Little jumbly. Starting at 8 o'clock when the video publishes, the first 10 people, well, it's not going to be just the first 10 people who leave a comment. You leave a comment. I will get back to you. You will need to respond. I will need to get your mailing information, because I'm going to keep doing this until all 10 of those pair of earrings have homes. So tomorrow, be prepared to leave a comment on the video. Be prepared, if you are among the first 10, to choose which pair of earrings you want. Just, give me your top 3 or 4 choices, whatever. Like I say, I'll accommodate you as far as I can. Be prepared to email me your contact information. And once we've got the 10 pair of earrings given away, contest is over. But let's see if we can do some happy little Sunday morning stuff. And I'm figuring we can do this because, let's face it, we're all at home. We got nothing better to do. Might as well just sign up for a contest. Get yourself a pair of earrings. They are all pierced earrings. I should have mentioned that before. I don't know how clear that is on the pictures. I believe it is clear, but they are all pierced earrings. They are all beautiful. And like I say, they're all numbered. So you enter. What I want to hear is thank you, Stephanie, and then, 8721. And I will know the first pair of earrings, your first choice would be 8. Your second would be 7. Your third would be 2. Your fourth would be 1. And I'll just go through till I get you one you like. Yeah. So we'll see how this works out, because one of the concerns I have with giveaways is so many people will respond to the giveaway, and then Audie chooses a winner. I get in touch with the winner sometimes I don't. The last time I got in touch with the winner and said, I need your contact information, and I gave them a couple of different ways to email it to me. Haven't heard back in a few days. I'm just going to have to choose another winner because we have a 2-week limit. And that has been an ongoing issue with the giveaways. I love doing giveaways, but I don't love when people don't respond, because so many other people did, and so many other people want the item, that when I'm holding an item back for a week or 2 weeks and then I have to throw it into the pot again, I know other people are getting frustrated by that, and I don't want that. So we're going to see if we can just nail this down tomorrow and do it quick and easy. All right, so that's where we're at for tomorrow's giveaway. This is your heads up. You're going to see that tomorrow morning on the giveaway. Say, thank you, Stephanie. Give me some earring numbers, and we'll see what we can do. All right, let's look at our word origins again. See what we've got here. Torture, to twist. That one is pretty intuitive. In the days of the Spanish Inquisition, victims were tortured by twisting and stretching them on the rack. The word torture comes from the Latin tortus, T-O-R-T-U-S, not tortoise as in the turtle, a derivation of torqueo, which means to turn or twist. A tortuous road is a twisting and winding one. When a robber or blackmailer extorts, Latin ex, from, money from persons, he twists or wrests it from them by physical or mental violence. If a face is distorted, Latin dis meaning away, it is twisted away from its normal shape, and a contorted, Latin con, with, body is twisted with or upon itself, while a retort, Latin re meaning back, is a remark twisted or turned back upon the challenger. Even our word torch seems to have come from a twisted wick. Yeah, very interesting. Trivial. 3 ways. The Romans were human, and they knew where their roads crossed would be the spot on which the women would meet and gossip. On the way back from the market, oh dear, another anti-female rant. The words for this in Latin would be tri, meaning three, and via, way. That is trivia, which in our language means trifles. The word trivial comes straight from the Latin trivialis, which means in translation of the crossroads. That is crossroads small talk, just gossip. Interesting. I'm actually going to get you a real definition for this because this is not correct. So, but I am going to look it up because I know there are several of them and I want to make sure that I get you all of the choices on this one. This man is so sexist. The villain. This man is such a villain. Only a farmer. The villain, whom we used to hiss on the stage, started as quite an honest son of the soil. The word villa in Latin stood for a farm or house. This entered Old French as vilain and Middle English as villain, and until that time, this villain of ours was just a rustic fellow, half serf, half free, bound to the country estate or villa of some lord. Of course, he was of low birth, and hence to the aristocrats was a person of low morals and villainy in general. Shakespeare employed the word villain in both its ancient and modern uses, but after him, the bad sense of the word took over. All right, let's do one more because I like the looks of this. Zany began as a nickname. You have probably seen a group of people acting like fools at a cocktail party. If so, you could properly call them zanies. I would call them drunks, wouldn't you? At its beginning, the Italian word zani was a Venetian dialect form equivalent to Gianni, a shortened form of the proper name Giovanni, which equals our John. It was a nickname applied to porters and other servants. Thus, in the Commedia dell'arte, a clowning servant was a zany, or zani, I'm assuming. His role was to mimic and make fun of his master. By the time zany reached the English language, it meant any silly person. I like that one. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Tomorrow, we are going to get up bright and early. We are going to start entering at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard. That is New York City time. All you have to do is just say, "Thank you, Stephanie," and give me the numbers of earrings you want. I'm just going to grab the first 10. If we get people who are following through, in other words, if I pick your name, first 10, and I'm going to do it right in the comments, I'm going to post it right at the top at a pinned comment. Bang, bang, bang. These are the names. You get back to me. We've got 1 hour. 1 hour, you get back to me. If not, I'm going to move on to the next. All right, let's see if we can work this giveaway out quickly and easily. So, first thing tomorrow morning. See you later.